Have you ever wondered why you have this unbreakable urge to help everyone around you, even though you're already exhausted? This incessant need to help others can lead to burnout, health issues, frustration, resentment, and feeling taken advantage of. In this video, I'm covering 2 essential steps to breaking free from this cycle. First, we'll look at why we feel like we have to help. And then I'll share 3 practical and simple strategies you can learn and start using today. If you're tired of feeling like a doormat, constantly giving without receiving, then this video is for you, because these tips will help you break free from this people-pleasing trap. What drives us to feel like we have to help? A lot of it comes from childhood messages that we got, that our value was placed on how much we helped, how much we gave to others, whether we were good, nice, all of those messages that we got when we were young. And we get this idea that we're not as worthy if we're not being helpful. We were taught to put others first, their thoughts, their opinions, and their needs, which includes helping. And helping could be things like taking on extra tasks at work for a colleague or your boss. It could be doing errands for others or helping them move. But I think the biggie is feeling driven, feeling compelled to help other people with their problems, taking on their emotional baggage, I'll say, and spending as much time and energy as you need to with them to feel like you helped them solve their problem. The problem with that is that in order for us to feel like we helped someone in this way, we take on their emotional stuff and we take away from them the responsibility for taking care of their own emotions, taking care of their own problems. We sacrifice our time and energy to make things better for them. And then we wonder why we're exhausted and resentful and burn out and maybe even are suffering health issues, because when we take that stuff on, it sits in our body because we have no responsibility. We can't do anything about it. So growing up, we get these messages, like I said. And I think the biggest message, the biggest mistake message that we get is that if we don't help, we're being selfish. I have a daily calendar that is a perpetual calendar, and you just turn over the pages every year. My mom gave it to me many, many years ago, and it sits on my bathroom counter, and I don't often look at it, but for some reason on May 22nd, I turned it to that day's message. And the message said, "Forgive me and love me, God, when I am selfish. It's not easy to always think of others first." It's not easy to always think of others first. That means if I don't always think of someone else first before I do anything, that means, according to this message, that I am being selfish. And those type of messages are what drives us to think that we need to help without considering ourselves first and how it's going to impact our time and energy and our health and our well-being. So these are the emotional drivers behind our compulsion to help. Most of them are ingrained beliefs from childhood. The belief is if we don't help others first, we feel bad. We feel as though we're wrong. One other driver was this. Many of us were taught, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We were taught that if we helped others, they would reciprocate. Helping them meant they would reciprocate and help me. The problem with this is, though, we learn to help with conditions. We help in order to make them happy and to be accepted. When we've learned this pattern, this people-pleasing pattern, we're not typically helping from a place of true kindness and without any thought of anything in return. If you're feeling frustrated or resentful because people aren't reciprocating, then most likely you are helping with conditions. You're helping with the expectation of something in return instead of out of true kindness. So I invite you to look at the amount of times that you help because you're expecting to be helped back. That was a belief that we were given. It's not a healthy behavior. How do we get out of this helping trap, this helping hamster wheel? How do we regain our own time and energy and start creating some inner peace? Here are 3 quick and simple strategies if you're stuck in people-pleasing helper overdrive. The first one is for you if you are what we call an auto yeser. If you automatically say yes to everything you're asked to do, everything you're invited to, everything you're asked to take on, you just say yes without even thinking about it. What you have to learn how to do is something I call the pause. Whenever you're asked to do something that requires a yes or no answer from you, I want you to wait. And that could be anything from going to happy hour, serving on a committee, taking on extra tasks, working more hours, handling a family issue. Any of those things, I want you to implement the pause. And that means telling them, I'll have to think about it and get back to you. And then truly walk away from that situation, think about it, and think about, if I said yes to this, how would I show up? Would I show up gratefully, excited to help? Or am I going to show up begrudgingly and with a bad attitude? Or maybe I won't show up at all because that is the only way to back out of a commitment that I've made when I've said yes and really wanted to say no. So learning how to pause. All you have to say is, let me think about it and get back to you. And then, like I said, get back to them. Maybe within 24 hours, I'll get back to you tomorrow about that. And then think about it and get back to them. But that gives you time to step back, reset, and decide if it's truly something that you want to do, or are you just saying yes out of obligation. The second thing I want you to do is to learn your limits. Start setting limits. This means learning your limits with your time and energy and actually pulling back from always, again, being an auto yeser. Maybe if you're asked to do something and you feel like you could do a little bit of it, but not maybe the full amount of what they need you to do, then learn to say, I'll help, but only for an hour. And then stick to that. Set an alarm on your phone, set an alarm on your watch, whatever you need to do so that when that hour is up, they are already prepared that you're going to leave, and then leave. And the third thing is this: most of us feel guilty for saying no, but we don't know how to respond and not feel guilty. So if we do say no, we end up giving these long explanations about why we can't. We even make up excuses about why we're saying no. But this just diminishes your confidence and your power. So the third thing is learning how to say no without guilt and without explanation. I invite you to learn some phrases for saying no and practice them. Look in the mirror and practice saying them to yourself so that when an invite comes up that your gut is saying no to, you can easily respond with one of these phrases. And if you need help with that, I have a free resource, a free guide of 20 ways to say no without feeling guilty. And I'll link it in the description of this video. Again, it's free, so go grab it and practice some of these phrases so that when you get asked something and you want to say no, you can easily say no without feeling guilty. You're not doing anything wrong by putting yourself first. One reframe that you can use instead of having to say an outright no is just say, I can't commit to that right now. And if you want 20 other reframes, grab that free guide. Breaking free from people-pleasing takes a lot of courage. And it's not this big leap that you make in one day. So start taking small baby steps. Learn new phrases to use. Learn the pause. Learn what your limits are so that you can start to say no without feeling guilty. And you feel empowered with doing that. You build your confidence in yourself. And you start to feel this worthiness that you never felt before when you were constantly giving to others. Isn't that a cool saguaro back there? Did you get messages of what it meant to be good or nice or selfish? Comment below on that. And which one of the 3 simple strategies are you going to start implementing today? I would love to know. You deserve to take care of you. Put yourself first and not feel like your value is dependent on what you do for others. If you want more information on breaking free from people pleasing, watch this video right there. Okay, that's a wrap. So these are the emotional drivers So these are the emotional drivers. Is that right? So these are the emotional drivers behind. The third thing is this. Oh, son of a bitch. Isn't that a cool